So at A-level at Dover Grammar School for Girls, we have a religious studies A-level, but it's more appropriate really to term it philosophy, ethics and theology, because it's quite different to the religious studies that you will study at Key Stage 4. So we split this up into 3 separate parts, and I'll take some time in a moment to talk about those 3 elements of the course. So philosophy is the study of the nature of truth, so who gets to decide what truth is, and is truth something that is universal? We also look at questions like, does God exist, and if so, what forms does God take? Is God male or female? And are religious experiences a valid way of learning about the nature of God? We then go on to study ethics, which I would say is the area of the course that is perhaps most applicable to quite a wide range of careers. It looks at various ethical dilemmas that we might face in our day-to-day lives. I would say any humanities or essay-based subjects work really well with philosophy. Anything where you're going to have an opportunity, A, to work on extended writing, but also B, to consider various social and ethical debates. So things I would say like sociology and criminology are really good fits for philosophy, history, geography and even languages to some extent as well. Contrary to popular belief, philosophy is a really useful A-level actually for a wide range of careers and university courses that aren't just religion based. So yes, you can go down that route of religion, but also I would say that philosophy is a really useful qualification for law, medicine as well, where you're going to have to face ethical dilemmas on a daily basis, but also the study of business, I would say, social sciences as well at university. So number one, you need to have either a natural flair for writing essays, so naturally good at producing extended writing, or if not, you need to be willing to learn to produce good extended writing. So there are 3 exams as part of your A-level in philosophy, each are 2 hours long, and you will have 40-mark essay questions. So you need to be either good at writing essays or get good at writing essays. I would also say you need to be willing to conduct wider reading around the subject in your own time, so it isn't really enough in philosophy to come in and participate in the lessons and leave it at that. You need to be willing to conduct wider reading around the subject in your own time as well. So if you want to challenge yourself, and really challenge those commonly sort of taken for granted assumptions in the world around you, then I would say philosophy is a brilliant qualification to take. So it's not only relevant to going down a sort of religious or theological path in later study and in careers, but it's also very well respected by universities.
So what have you enjoyed learning in philosophy?
I think my favourite topic so far is meta-ethics, which is where you just explore whether good is meaningful or not, which I found really interesting because you never really question the definition of words.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really interesting to look at, especially with like emotivism, when they just regard good as meaningless.
I think that's central as well to discussions about all fundamental rights and laws, because if there is no good, then why should we act in a particular way?
Exactly. I think that's really interesting. What is your favourite?
So I enjoy ethics as a whole, primarily because I want to go into law, so I think it all links and I'm always asking myself questions. So what kind of ethical systems influence the law and things like that.
Yeah.
I also really enjoy theology because it's not only about one religion, not only about Christianity. In second year you also learn about religious pluralism as well, so kind of incorporating everything into one.
So why would you recommend to take philosophy?
I would honestly recommend philosophy to everyone because I think it just broadens your knowledge of the world in general, and what I mean by that is that like the law, sociology, psychology, it makes you think logically, so maths. I see a lot of people take maths and philosophy, and that's a really good combination because they link. So I think there's something for everyone, and I also think if you aren't sure what A level you want to do or what you want to do at university or after you leave school, philosophy can give you a good basis for everything, and it's a very high regarded A level because it shows you can think critically, which is a really important skill you need for university.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that when you go into it, you get a completely different opinions on things that you thought you were going to think differently. So I came into it thinking, like, as an atheist, I came out as agnostic, where you don't know whether God exists, because there is just so much proof for the counter arguments, you just can't decide. And I think that's really interesting going into it, because you change your perspectives.
Yeah, it really forces you to think of the counter arguments, because a good essay is having an argument and then a counter argument to that, and then you think, hey, that does make sense, maybe that will influence my beliefs, and it's really interesting how much power the subject has to do that.
So what advice would you give to people if they took philosophy?
So it is quite a content heavy subject, as we know. Interesting content, but content heavy, so it's important to keep going over everything you've learned.
I also think it's important to know when you go into it that it's heavily essay based. So you've got to be able, I feel like it teaches you to form your own opinion. So I think you don't need that when you go in, but you will learn how to do that.